This week, let's hear what the ladies have to say about dating or marrying a younger man. Hey guys, it's your girl Basia, and you know what time it is? Today's Tuesday, so you know what's up. It's time for the Ask Basia video podcast, and today we're discussing dating or marrying a younger man. My favorite topic. I wonder why. So today I'm joined by some phenomenal queens. In the middle, we have Mrs. Alicia Bazan, a Caribbean American woman and a graduate of Boyd Law School at the University of Las Vegas. Currently, she works as a legal professional in the insurance industry. Mrs. Bazan is an advisory member for caregivers of NCAN, a neo-endocrine cancer support group, as well as the creator of Happiness handmade jewelry line that I'm rocking. Her jewelry is available for sale via her Instagram at Happiness_designs. And we have all the information in the article associated with this podcast. So we welcome back Mrs. Bazan, and we also welcome back Dr. Ayana Eastman, Trinidadian American. Dr. Eastman is a professor, communication, educator, scholar, entrepreneur, proud single mother, aunt, and most importantly, a woman of God. Check her out on successfulmom.home.blog. Her details also associated with the articles with the post of this podcast. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you ready to inspire, connect, and motivate?
Yes. Sure, I'm all about it.
Listen, I know a lot of single women. They fall into several categories, right? Some never been married, some divorced, some widowed, unfortunately. But some of these women are finding it difficult to meet Mr. Right. It's my belief that they are restricting themselves with this preconceived notion that Mr. Right has to check several boxes. He must look a certain way. He must be the same age or older. He must be an academic. And the list goes on. A lot of he must. I happen to know for many of these women, the age of their future partner is a serious criteria. The idea of dating a younger man is a no-no for them. My feeling is that true love cannot be chosen based on a calendar year. Love is a real connection between two people. Does true love have an age? Dr. Ayana Eastman, I'm starting with you.
I would say no, it doesn't have an age.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, yesterday I even heard a story of a 67-year-old man and a 69-year-old woman who recently got married, and they're doing very well.
Wow. Okay. That's really good. That's good. So, Mrs. Bazan.
Yes.
Does true love have an age? I just want you to say yes or no.
I would say no.
No. Okay. And obviously,
if you'd asked me in my 20s.
Well, you're speeding. Hold on. So obviously, we're not referring to pedophilia type of vibes. We're not talking about grown men who, after 13-year-old girls, we're talking about adult relationships.
Right.
You feel me? So once somebody becomes an adult, it's fair game. That's my thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Bazan, are you okay with the idea of dating or marrying a younger man?
So as I said previously, if you'd asked me in my 20s, that, I would definitely be all over the, from being an internal bias or what I saw growing up or whatever, I always believe that whoever I'm with in a relationship had to be older.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for years I dated older men.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't always the greatest experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly
that's for another show.
Yeah. But, I had in my mind, I had fixated in my mind that this is what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, after going through, relationship after relationship with older men that didn't necessarily pan out, or the things that they wanted and the things that I wanted didn't align, I decided to like throw that out the window and start fresh and do everything completely opposite from what I had done in the past.
Okay.
And so now I'm currently married to a much younger.
Yay! Go girl, go girl.
So
nice. And that seems to be working out quite fine because
it's been the best relationship that I've been in. I mean, and when I look at the things that we've done together, how we've grown together, like never had any of that type of experiences with the
an older guy.
Correct.
Correct.
Because most of them were so very set in their ways and wanted things to be a certain way. And, it's like you met me one way and this is how I am. And then we decide to be in a relationship and like, oh, now I have to change. Well, why do I have to change? So I think that, that's part of it. That I think with younger men, there's a little bit more of a flexibility and understanding and compromise.
And they're willing to grow with you.
Willing to grow. And that's been my experience. I mean, it may not be the same experience for everyone, but that has been my experience. When I look at my life dating older men and now being with a younger man, it's completely, it's night and day.
I hear that. So ladies out there, those of you listening and watching, take notes if you're looking for Mr. Right, whatever that is.
I will add though, Basia, that it definitely has to do with the individual, right? Because not all, 30-something-year-olds are as evolved as the other. Like when I met my husband, he was in his late 20s.
Yeah.
And, the level of maturity that I got from him and responsibility and the things that he wanted to do with himself was just like completely more evolved than
because you met him as a man. He was still a man.
Correct. That is correct.
He was still a man, very much a man. And before I move on to Dr. Eastman, I have to say, I don't know everybody in the world, right? Let's just put that out there. But all the people I know who are married to younger men, they are in very successful marriages. Because I guess they would have married mature younger men. Yeah. Dr. Eastman, how about you? Are you down with the idea of dating or marrying a younger man? Man is the operative word. Don't look at younger.
Right. So I think at this age, at my age now, yes. Right? So like I mentioned before,
no.
Because to me, there's an age definitely when men are more mature than at other time. So like a male in his 20s and you in your 20s at the same time, two different levels, like completely, right? And yes, I think it is a personality thing. But if we think back to the males who we knew in our time, at our age, and the maturity levels, they're like chalk and cheese.
I have to agree with you. And I think that as grown women, we would know by now that when it comes to a relationship, a man's age really has nothing to do with his delivery. I know so many older men who are still immature.
That's right.
I have dated a few of them, unfortunately. And like Alicia Bazan, I experienced a shift as I was about to move towards 30, which was last year. And so last year, in my mind, I experienced that shift. And in my 20s, early 20s, that would have been a no-no for me. I'd be like, are you crazy? Because I think, and it would have been a no-no because as in the early 20s to marry a younger man, that would have been a teenager, and that would have been a whole pedophile situation. That boy would not have been a man. So by the time those men matured, and depending on how well they were raised, they became fair game for me. I realized that when a boy becomes a man, he's now a man and he can date me. So I have felt that way for many years. And in full transparency, I'm speaking from experience because my husband was that only younger man that I ever dated. And
20
years later, here I am. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't think that we should focus. I don't get up as a woman happily married to a younger man, and he actually doesn't even like that identification. He was the one who taught me the idea of what does age have to do with it.
Right.
I don't get up every morning thinking about how old I am and how old he is. I'm thinking about what do we have to pay today? Where do we
Right.
have to be at today? Where are we going for dinner? I don't think about that after all these years. You with a person,
Right.
you know,
Right.
that you have a connection with. But I'm going to ask you, Alicia Beza, do you like the term cougar? And for those of you who don't know what a cougar is, can you explain to them what a cougar is?
My gosh. So I got called so many cougars when Chris and I first started dating, right?
Yeah.
It was funny. But I will say, on the flip side, his family called him the cougar magnet. So we were just aligned very well.
Ouch.
Ouch. But do you like the term?
I don't know. I think initially I was a bit taken aback by the term because, it had this like negative connotation, like, this
That's what
whole,
I
like
find.
cradle robbing idea,
Yes. So I don't
And-
like it. I don't like it.
So I really did not like it initially. I mean, my mature friends eventually stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But, at one point it's like the B word, right? Either you embrace it or you don't.
Yeah.
And so it became a point where I was like, you know what? This is the case. If that's what you define cougar as, a woman who's dating a younger man, then
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Cougar, Miss Cougar, thank you very much.
Okay, you're a cougar, baby. Dr. Eastman, do you like the term cougar?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. A
No?
cougar is a really cool animal,
Ah.
and I like the power and strength associated with it.
Mm.
I wish there was an equivalent name for the older men who date younger women consistently,
Yes.
right? And I think that would be predator.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, get out of here, girl.
Easy.
But so because to me, if you're gonna be calling the woman, giving her a name for doing the reverse,
then you're a
the man
predator.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Eastman, take it easy on us today, okay? So I'm sticking with Dr. Eastman since she seems to be on fire today. What do you consider to be the most important factors when choosing a partner then? I mean, what are we saying to women out there who, I happen to know a few people right now who, like much younger guys, are interested in them and they're ducking, as we say in the Caribbean. They're completely ducking. They're like, no, which was my initial response. Can I tell you, it took me several months to go out with my husband because I didn't know his age. I thought he was my age. We didn't discuss age. And the first time I found out my husband's age, he never told me his age. I found out on television. And I fell off the bed. Literally. So, what do you say to these women who, like me, I was fixated for a minute on the age. I wasn't that evolved. It took me some time. But what do you say to them? What are we supposed to be looking for? Take us to the classroom.
That's a big question. A lot of it depends on where you're at as a woman. If you're in your 20s and the guy is like 18, that's different than if you in your 40s or if you're in your 30s and he's in his 20s.
No, we're talking about women in their 40s here at this stage, the ones that I know. Yeah.
All right. So what you're looking for, I would say, first of all, he, for me, the priority would be his spirituality, right? So where is he in that realm? Like how comfortable is he in his skin as a man of God, as, his spiritual being? And then thereafter, a job, right? Very important.
And job, if you want to be with me.
Oh yeah. And then again, if at our stage, we can't imagine that a younger man would be, let's say, even if he's in his, I don't want to give my age away, but let's say he's over 30, that he will have some kind of family commitment. So he may have been married, has a child, or been divorced. So I think the issue comes now. You have to talk about things like priorities, right? So where will you be? What will be your role in his life? Are you coming behind his children, right? And again, I'm talking from my own experience with these things. It's like, so he has the spiritual part, he has the job, but then what's your role in his life? So you as a woman have to figure out, what do you want? What do you want from him? What are you willing to accept?
What you
Some
willing to
people might be
accept?
okay. Some women would be okay with it, when they understand and so on. But you have to know, because that all now boils down to your own sense of self and your own self-worth.
Right.
So what do you say to the fact that, to that point, I feel if this man is your boyfriend and you are his girlfriend, then his children are first. But the moment he takes a decision to make you his wife, well, then you have to make sure that you are first. Do you agree with that? I didn't make up that rule. God make it up. It's a vow you take.
I agree, but the question is, when is that decision to be made? Is it to be made at the altar, or is it to be made somewhere along the line? When? Because some people assume that when you get to the altar, that all of a sudden you'll be the priority.
No, well, you don't make assumptions
Doesn't
with
happen
men.
like that.
My experience have taught me that you don't make assumptions with men.
That's right.
You sit them down and you have discussions, you do your best to communicate what your expectations are.
That's right.
And he should tell you right then and there if he can live up to those expectations.
Right.
So if he says yes, then you have every right to demand such treatment. Correct?
Yep. But then that's if he says yes, or if he even agrees to answer along, talk about those things.
Well, no answer is not a good thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So then you know what to do. It's interesting. We did a show recently on cheating, and we were looking at the top 10 reasons that people get divorced, and infidelity was not at the top. Communication, finance, all kind of things. And you were on that show, Dr. Eastman, right? But what was also not on that list was the age of the spouses. Like I don't know anybody who got divorced because of their age, because one was younger or the other, so which is my point to, once you are married to a legal adult and that person does not require their parents to sign for them, so one should not be shy of exploring the avenue of a younger date, a younger partner. You never know, I don't think you can explain an experience unless you've had that experience. You shouldn't lead with your preconceived notions. Like a lot of athletes, and this is a fact, research has shown, and we see them are known for marrying older women. One such example is Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. They have I wouldn't call it a significant age difference, but there's an age gap there. Who am I to say how significant is an age difference? One of the things that I have learned through the years with my own marriage is that what is important is for two souls to connect. Your age is about how long you have been on the planet. It has nothing to do with how old you are.
Right.
Your attitude determines how old you are.
Right.
Yeah. So you can meet someone who is younger than you. In my case, my husband is younger than me, but he's more mature emotionally than I am. So that person could actually teach you a lot about yourself and about life. So it really just depends on the level of experience. And it is a fact that athletes, because of how young they start traveling, they start life, how early they start making money and making decisions, they tend to be more emotionally mature than the average man. So, on the other hand, you can meet a man of any age, but he's totally repulsive because of his personal values and many things. I can tell you many things that would stop me from dating someone, and it really has nothing to do with their age. It could be their hygiene, the way they eat, the way they, as you said, if they don't love Jesus, that's a no-no. Like I signed an X in front of them, like that's serious for me. Like, so I certainly hope that this podcast would allow a lot of women out there, empty nesters, to consider, being open to love and discarding the calendar, because it has nothing to do with somebody's wisdom, ability to love, ability to care for you, etc. Yeah?
I agree. Yeah.
Agreed. At the end of the day, regardless of the age difference, every relationship has its challenge. Nothing is perfect. Would you say, Alicia Bazin, that you have to have a age limit? Like, for example, as we said, in our 20s, it would be a no-no, like, oh, that's gross, right? But we all talking like we're so open-minded about a younger man. It takes a minute to process, let's face it, for everybody. We're not talking 2 years younger or 3 years younger or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Is there an acceptable gap? Let's say you're a woman who, of a particular age, you cross 40, and homeboy is 25. How you feel about that? How you feel about that? I'm asking both of you, but you first, Alicia.
Yeah, no, I think someone who is like, at least for when I was going through that process, even though I was like, you know what, I'm going to do things different, and yes, I will entertain dating a younger person. Like, that person still had to be over 25. Like,
right.
I figure that if somebody's getting closer to 30, that there be, more that a level more of maturity.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think now, I'm happily married, so that's not something for me to consider. But, like, I don't know that now, if I was single, that I'd be necessarily looking for someone who was, younger than 25 still.
But I'm saying if you are 40, right, would you date someone who's as young as 25?
I think I still have that little bias that, even though I would consider younger, like, it has to be like within a specific area, right? Like, I can't see the 25-year-old if I'm 40. I can't see the 25-year-old. 29.
So you in fact have a limit to your
I do.
Younger choices.
I do. I still have the bias.
You still have a bias. What about you, Dr. Eastman? Do you have a bias? Do you how low in age, or how wide a gap, I should say, are you willing to?
I mean, I don't want to put a number to it, but definitely, like, if I was 40 and say, like, another 25-year-old, I don't see a problem with that. I think I would gauge it more in terms of my daughter. So if the person is closer to my child's age, if my child is an adult,
yes.
Then yes. If my child is a child and they're just like 5 years above my child, no. Right. But I think it'd be more in line with wherever my child's at.
Yeah. That sounds more reasonable to me from where I sit. I'm like in the middle of both of you all.
I think it's a respect thing too, right? Like, you don't want to disrespect your child by dating someone who could probably be in her dating pool either, right?
Right. I
don't agree with you all. Because I just said that you as old as your mindset. I totally disagree with you guys. I am in the middle of both of you all. Like, my children would have to be grown. So that's why I said I'm in the middle, because yes, I would be thinking about where my kids are at in their lives. But I just find, as women, we have to give up so much, especially when you have children. It's almost as though you're and people can say otherwise, but it's almost as though you are putting your life on pause until your children begin their adult lives. When you take a decision to become a mother, or, well, I don't even want to say or a father. I don't know that fathers have to do that. Right? But you have to give up so much. And for that reason, once these cookie monsters become adults, if I were in that situation where I was looking, Stella would be getting her groove back with your friend. Okay? I do not. You see, it depends on what you're looking for.
Right.
If you're looking for a husband,
Right.
I may still do that. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to date, because for whatever category, you're divorced, widowed, whatever, and this person is mature, respectful, makes you feel good, you can go on vacations. This podcast is for the women in those categories. Right now, I want them to be open-minded to love. That has nothing to do with my son or my daughter or whatever, whatever they will have, whether they have a daughter or a son. That has to do with me, because your mother, she has put her life on hold for all these years. It's time for her girl to have a good time, especially if she's still looking fine and she can get it. Like, I am like all for it. Listen, any 40-year-olds out there listening today, and the 25-year-old is calling you, pick up the phone, go out and dance. You understand? Live your life. Your age is just a calendar. It doesn't matter. Don't after 2020, guys. Oh, you tell these ladies that go live your life. Look at Kris Jenner. I mean, her guy could be dating any one of her daughters, and she seems so happy with him.
But I think that goes back to that sense of bias, right? Like there's or that sense of respect. Like, even though like I've shifted my outlook on what I think about age, I still think that there is, because I had an experience in my life where, a parent of mine was dating someone who was close to my age. And it was a little bit awkward for me, and not that I didn't want that parent to be happy.
That's a norm for me. No shade.
It was odd for me. So it's I think it just depends on the person.
Because you're judging. Let people be happy. Maybe
I got over
parent,
it.
that's what they need to keep their heart pumping. Is it
Yeah, but then okay. So also dating younger implies that you're also trying to keep yourself a certain way. You're already fit. You're looking a certain way. What if, right? So let's say you're in your 50s and you want to rock the grays, right? And you're dating a 25-year-old, right? And people see you rocking your grays, and you're with the 25-year-old who's obviously, because at 25, everyone knows you're young. In your 20s, even early 30s, you look young, right? Everyone sees the obvious age. They see the age difference, right? Are you saying then that the person should, it's like, your comfort level, right?
Yeah.
How open would you be to just being yourself, being 50 and rocking your grays and going out with a younger person?
If are we speaking about me, or are we talking about somebody who's listening?
We're talking about anyone who's listening. We're talking about you. We're talking about Alicia.
Well, if it were me, I would not be rocking any grays, because I feel you owe it to a 25-year-old. If you want to be dating in the category of 25 and 30 and so on, you need to keep up. You're not supposed to be having no.
But okay. But then you see, that raises another thing. If I am 50 and I'm okay with my grays, and you're attracted to me, I shouldn't have to take away my grays because of that.
No, I'm saying if it bothers you, take it away. Yeah, it's fair game. If it bothers you, take it away. Personally, I don't like to see grays. I don't see no reason for it, right? So for me, I am not going to be rocking a gray if I'm a woman in that particular category. I'm not. We're talking hypothetically. But I just don't feel that women should have to think about age. Men don't think about age. I applaud the women who are in their 50s and 40s. And they are dating outside of that pool. They don't care about age. They just out here to have a good time and be happy, responsibly so, and be. I'm all for it. I don't want us to throw any shade at those ladies. They deserve happiness. Once your kids are out of the house, do what you want.
So as you said that, I remembered Jada Pinkett's mom. She looks
amazing.
Awesome.
Yes.
Amazing.
I feel like
that's me when I get to that stage.
I know.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at her and Jada and I'm thinking,
who's the mother?
Right.
And no shade at Jada, because nothing is wrong with Jada. And she will continue to look like that,
Oh, wow.
I love to see that. That is motivation for women like us. You're not supposed, we grew up in a time where you're made to feel that you have to look older because you're getting older. You can actually get better and look better with age, depending on your diet, your mindset. And that's why I embrace those ideas of a woman who, because it said life, and I really feel that life begins at 50. And
Yeah.
typically that's when your kids are going off to college. And
Yeah.
you deserve to get your groove back, like Stella did. You remember when Stella got her groove back, went to Jamaica, yeah man, and got her guy? I think every woman who is who is in a situation where she's single and ready to mingle, she needs to be a Stella. Why restrict yourself in a pool of older men who don't want older women anyway?
No, they don't.
No, they want the girls who are still on the calendar age. Once you start to hit 20, 28, you're out. 31 months in most calendars, So by 30, you're out.
Oh, man.
So I am all for it. That's what I love about this podcast, though. This podcast is for women. We explore all the lifestyle issues affecting us as women, and we do so truthfully, vulnerably, authentically. We are global. My queens pull up from all parts of the world: UK, USA, Caribbean, India, Africa. Dr. Eastman, tell the people where you're at, where you're coming to us from today.
And from the United States in Connecticut.
Good.
So great to be here.
Yes. Alicia Bazan, where you at?
Charlotte, North Carolina, baby. North Kakalaki, as they say.
Yeah. And in case you have not realized, I'm in the A, otherwise known as Atlanta, Georgia. That's the thing about the Ask Basia podcast. You have no idea who you will see, where they're from on a given Tuesday. But one thing for certain, they'll be fabulous. Yeah, that's what we do because we're global. You feel me? I want to remind everybody to follow these queens on their respective social media platforms. IG for Alicia Bazan, tell them what's your IG platform where they can get all these fabulous.
Yes, Abbiness_designs on Instagram.
And we're going to tag that in this post.
Abbiness on Facebook.
Good. Ayana Eastman, Dr. Eastman, where you at?
So I'm at successfulmom.home.blog. So you can check me out there. Empowering mommies everywhere.
I like that. And your girl, I'm on YouTube. You can see this broadcast on YouTube at Basia Powell. You can also follow me on Instagram at Basia Powell. And you can follow me at Twitter at Basia Powell. And today we have a special segment. It's called Open Mic, if you please. We are doing an open mic section where the ladies and I are going to sound off on whatever is bugging us right now. And right now, open mic. You want me to start the open mic? Because I have a burning issue right now. And my issue is Bill Gates. Okay?
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Lord, ladies, it's similar to what we're talking about, but the reverse, right? Today. And I have an issue. Like when the news broke about Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates' divorce last week or whatever, I was like, wow, dang. I thought the marriage was dull and boring, and she just left him because he was just so dull and boring. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Sad. Sorry for the show. But then the news broke yesterday that Bill Gates allegedly was a cheater, womanizer. I was like, pull up. What? Bill Gates? Now, I'm just trying to keep it real with y'all. I got scared as a wife. I don't know about you women out there, but if Bill Gates could cheat on his wife, woman, we need to be worried. Because I wasn't seeing that one coming. But you all have
I guess nerds have to have fun too.
But not only that, I mean, he's a rich nerd.
I don't care. I'll pass on that money. Sorry.
you know, as they say in the Caribbean, every Jack has his jacket and every Jim has his gym boots, right? So there's somebody who's
Bill
going to
Gates,
be
y'all.
driving. There's somebody who's hello. Do you not remember For the Love of Flavor Flav? Hello.
Ow.
But Bill Gates,
Listen, people are attracted to money and power, and they don't care what the person looks like because they feel like
Yeah.
they're going to be put on somehow, you know, put on some platform, or they're going to get this or going to get that. So it doesn't matter to them, right?
Yeah.
They're going to do whatever they can do, and if they're getting away, and hey, if I need to do this, I'm there.
well, today I'm sounding off on Bill Gates. Melinda, you need to renegotiate whatever terms you got because you don't deserve that cheatation. You need to get you some more money to put up with that. Listen, I'm out. Dr. Eastman, who you sounding off on?
So mine is a little more serious, the Andrew
When
Brown.
mean serious, mine serious too.
Yeah, you know, it's important, but you know, Bill Gates already made his money. So mine is the Andrew Brown and
Yeah.
the I wouldn't say verdict, but the results of the police doing their own autopsy and investigation, saying that the officers were justified in shooting and killing him. And of course,
Very sad.
protests going on as we speak.
Yeah.
You know, we may never know the full story, but the fact of the matter is there's no way you can have X amount of officers all coming in with the guns to arrest someone and then firing multiple shots without the person even firing one shot.
Yeah.
So whether or not if he was guilty of what he was accused of, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
That's very sad. And
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the plight that you know, Black men and Black people and people of color in general,
people of color,
face, it's just, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's like, how much more do we have to say? How much more do we have to do? How much more do we have to show you, you know, how unjust it is, right? And that's, we just keep pushing. We just keep pushing.
We keep pushing, and that's why we'll continue to stay on this platform until Black lives matter. Then all lives will matter.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
What about you, Alicia Bazin? What do you have to sound off on?
Girl, I don't have nothing to sound off on because I don't care about nobody and their silly business. Okay, my life is happy. I'm living my life. I'm fulfilled. So I ain't had time to say about people and their stuff.
Well, I just want to tell you that I'm fulfilled as well. But Bill Gates, that brought me some unfulfillment because then I was like, really? Bill Gates? Anyways, as Dr. Eastman said, that's not even so serious.
Yeah. No. I mean, when you think about things like, and some of those things, you know, granted, yes, I'm not, you know, poo-pooing at things that we want to talk about, but like, for me, like the topics that, you know, the sound off that Dr. Anna had, you know, I think those things are, how do we make a change? What can we do to make a difference to help improve those things? You know, so that we can that we don't have to like hear about those things to have to sound off about it, right? You know, how do we help? You know, what can we bring to government to say, hey, these are the changes that you need to do. These are the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
You know, how can they help us? You know, how can we help them help us?
Yeah.
So,
anyways, I wish I could talk to you all day, but as you know, all good things must come to an end. Yes. And this is the reason we created this podcast. We have an obligation to lift each other up. Instead, we are being taught to tear each other apart based on race, color, class, religion, as is the case in Gaza and elsewhere. Instead, you know, as women, we sometimes find ourselves looking for love in all the wrong places. If you believe that your soulmate is out there waiting for you, don't give up. Don't give that soulmate an age before you give the person a chance to show you who they are. True love does not have an age. I truly believe that. Don't say no to a date because of a man's age. Focus on the connection you share with a human being and if he's capable of loving you correct. You feel me? Remember, if you see another woman struggling, remember to help her up. Ladies, you were magnificent today. As my son Russ says, you did a great job, son. Remember to be careful what you say about each other because it takes one to know one Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's your girl, Basia. That's a wrap. Don't forget to follow us on the social. See you guys next week. We'll be back.